Lesson 2, multiplying polynomials. So it says polynomials, as we saw in the last lesson, behave a lot like integers, whole numbers, including our negatives. So we saw that just like integers, adding one polynomial to another polynomial results in a third polynomial. So when you add a polynomial to another polynomial, that's what you're going to get. So it says the same will occur with multiplying them. So when you multiply two polynomials together, your result is going to be a polynomial. So monomials are the simplest form, mono meaning one, so that means a one term. So they consist of, there you go, one term. Terms are separated by addition or subtraction. That is a key definition there to understand what a term is. Okay, terms are separated by addition or subtraction. It says, find the following product. So product means to multiply. So if I look at question A, it says 5x cubed times 2x squared. So when we multiply our coefficients, which is 10x, and when we multiply, we add our exponents to the fifth. I'm going to leave question B for you to do. Question C. So our coefficients are 1/2 times 3/4, which is 3/8 when I multiply. And now take our like bases of x squared and x to the 9th, and that's going to give me x to the 11th. And y to there's a 1 there, so that's y to the 6th. So it says we can also use the distributive property to multiply polynomials that are more complicated. So now we're going to take a look at the products, and we're going to get it into simplest form by using the distributive property. So right now I have 2x times 3x minus 1. So I'm going to distribute that 2x. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Remember, you're multiplying, so you add those exponents. And we end up with negative 2x. These are not like terms, x squared and x, not like terms. That is in simplest form. All right, I'm going to leave you with B. Let's do C together. So the monomial that we are multiplying or distributing is 2x squared times, or excuse me, negative 2x squared y to the third. So we're going to end up with negative 4x to the third y to the fourth. Keep in mind, when it's just x and just y here with this 2xy, the exponent for the x is 1 and the exponent for the y is 1 as well. So again, to continue or to finish up our distributing, I end up with a positive 10 x to the third y to the third. And I examine, are these like terms? They are not. This is an x to the third and a y to the fourth. This is x to the third, y to the third. This term, remember, terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So this is our first term and this is our second term. They are not alike, so we're not going to combine them. I'm going to leave you with D because I'm going to do a little bit harder example in letter E. So now I have a binomial times a binomial, a two-termed expression times a two-termed expression. So we're still going to use the distributive property, but now we're just going to use it twice. We're going to double distribute. So we end up with 2x squared plus 6x. And now I've got to distribute the 7. So 7x plus 21. Now I examine this expression, and I do see some like terms, so I'm going to combine those. Okay, that's my final answer. There's no other like terms to combine, so it's in simplest form. All right, a letter F, I'm going to do the same thing because I have a binomial times a binomial. Remember, it is this 3x minus 2 is a binomial because it has two terms. It's separated by subtraction. This second one also has two terms because it's separated by subtraction. So I'm going to start that distributing, and I'm going to distribute the 3x. So it becomes 15x squared minus 3x minus 10x plus 2. I do see some like terms, so I'm going to simplify that further to get to my final answer. That's going to be my final answer. No other like terms to combine, nothing else to do with it. So it says, never forget that as we do manipulations, we are using properties of equality, okay, to produce equivalent expressions. So in other words, this problem here, say in letter E, okay, our initial problem is equivalent to our answer. They're just in different forms. Let's have example 3, okay, be a warm-up in class, okay? So remind me about that I left that one as a warm-up. Okay. We can evaluate more complicated products, just as we have done in the past with normal numbers. The key will always be careful use of the distributive property. So here it says, this one, it says, find each of the following more challenging products. Well, this one right here, 2x plus 5, the quantity squared. Well, I always ask, what does it mean to square something? And you would say, oh, well, it means to multiply it by itself 2 times. Well, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to rewrite it. So now I can start that distributive property and double distribute. So I'm going to start with my 2x, and that's going to be 4x squared. Whoops, I forgot to draw that one over to there. Plus 10x. Now I've got to distribute the 5. So plus 10x plus 25. So combining like terms here, I end up with 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. There's my final answer in simplest form. When I look at letter B, I've got something a little bit more complicated. I have a binomial times a trinomial. So instead of double distributing, it's like I'm going to triple distribute. But to keep myself organized, because there would be so much distributing, I'm going to do a little graphic organizer, and I call this the box method. And that's all it is a graphic organizer. It just helps you kind of organize your thoughts. So I'm going to put my binomial here, my x plus 2, and then I'm going to put my trinomial up along the top. So now I start my multiplication, and I say x times x, because really this is area. We're finding area, length times width. So x to the first times x squared is x to the third. And I continue, and I say, okay, well, what's the area of this box? It's x times 4x, which is 4x squared. Find the area of this box. It's x times 3, which is 3x. And now I go down here and I do the same thing. So the area of this bottom left box is 2 times x squared, which is 2x squared. What's the area of this one? 2 times 4x, which is 8x. And 2 times 3, which is 6. And now I search this graphic organizer and I look for like terms. And I do see those are like terms. And I also see that those are like terms. So to write my final answer in standard form means start with the highest exponent first, x to the third. I combine like terms and get 6x squared. Combine some more like terms, and 11x plus that 6 on the end. There's my answer, simplest form. Okay. I'm going to leave this one for you. So this one's going to be kind of a two-step process. You're going to multiply these two together, get an answer, you're going to get a trinomial, and then you're going to have to multiply that trinomial by that. Okay? Let's do D together. So what does it mean to cube something? It means to multiply it by itself 3 times. So I'm going to start and I'm going to double distribute this and this times this. Okay, now the order wouldn't matter here. I could have chose this middle binomial times this last binomial, because remember, multiplication is commutative. So the order doesn't matter. So I've got 9x squared plus 6x. And now I'm distributing the 2. So 6x plus 4. And I'm just going to bring down that last 3x plus 2 because I haven't done anything with it yet. Combine my like terms. Okay. I'm still not done. Now I have a trinomial times a binomial. I'm going to pause the video and I'm just going to put this on a blank page so we've got some more space. So I'm just going to pause for a minute. Okay, so we're back. So now I've got that trinomial times a binomial, so I'm going to do, whoops, I'm going to organize my thoughts again using that graphic organizer. So it's a 2 by 3 because I have a binomial times a trinomial. So I'm going to put my binomial out here and my trinomial along the top. And I'm going to start that multiplication. 3x times 9x squared is 27x cubed. 3x times 12x is 36x squared. And 3x times 4 is 12x. Now I go down to the bottom left. 2 times 9x squared is 18x squared. 2 times 12x is 24x. And 2 times 4 is 8. Now I search my graphic organizer for any like terms that there might be. And I have my x squareds that are like, and I have my x's that are like. So now to write my final answer, in standard form, start with that highest exponent term first. Combine like terms here plus, what do we got? 36, 46, 56, 54 x squared plus 36x plus 8. No other like terms here, so everything is simplified. There is my final answer. So when I go back to my page, okay, give that one a try to come to class with. Okay, so you got a few to do on your own. You got one to set aside for a warm-up. All right, we'll see you in class for lots of practice with this.